What's going on, Tamers? Welcome to DigiPod, the digital podcast. I'm your boy Varney, today in studio with my boy Dan, and we're here with an episode of Digi Chats because we've got our guest, Michael Fermato, the one and only, here with us today. How are you doing, Mike?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I remember when I was a respected member of this community when I was also a podcast host once upon a time.
Once upon a time? What oh, you know what it is? It's that Ready to Deploy podcast that he does with the Varney and Dan, but not this Varney and Dan. It's another Varney and Dan. It's a Gundam podcast. That's what.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, my bad. Sorry, I'm getting it all mixed up. You know, similar names. Yeah. Varney, Dan, Mike. You know, everybody's got the name Varney, Dan, and Mike. Am I right? So you know. Yeah, I agree. No, I get it. I get it. Yeah, it just feels very weird, very deja vu. You know, I feel like at one point I actually was on a Digimon podcast pretty regularly. I don't know. You don't even play Digimon that often. You just like the last time I remember, you had like sold an Imperial deck. You don't have any more Digimon cards, and you damn sure don't have a locals. So I had a whole fucking tower of cards and decks.
Yes, hunters, and that's it.
The only thing I see there is a Digimon looking deck box, and that's probably just housing a lot of bulk.
I'm going to be honest, it probably is actually housing. But I kind of want to check now. It's like.
You say, yeah, watch this. You see this Imperial deck box that should be holding an Imperial deck.
Right.
I wonder what's in this. Oh.
Let's find out.
That's interesting. Nope. Still an Imperial deck, just not max rarity anymore.
Mike with a non-max rarity Imperial deck. Wow. A round of applause for Michael. Possible. That's a fact.
Yeah. I held back a bit.
So today we've got some stuff to talk about. I didn't go to locals. Mike's our guest, but unfortunately he doesn't have a locals. I'm not a guest,
goddammit.
And so then there was one, and his name is Dan.
Locals was terrible.
So I want to preface this with here comes Dan. His excuse of why he lost another local. Go ahead, Dan. Let us know what you have an excuse for losing.
Make sure he puts respect on both of our names, all right, bro? You let him fucking know right now, Dan. Now tell us why you lost, though.
No, because
in Dan's defense, Barney, at least he fucking showed up, buddy. What have you been fucking doing?
That's not me, bro. I'm just riffing off a comment that was made on an earlier. Yo, that's right. You're our guest today. You don't know this comment.
You know, keep it up, bro. I'm gonna fucking. It's all fun and games until I leak the group chat text on the YouTube shorts. I'll just make a short of all the horrible things you guys have said. I am bullied, by the way. I get bullied every day of my life in our chat. I just want to say that now. These are bullies.
I just want to say it's not for me.
This was a comment on the Jeopardy video we made with Tape Right Antics. Man said, Dan is such a sore loser. Dude has an excuse for everything that goes wrong.
I can't even. It's not even true, Dan. I don't know why someone would say that.
Go ahead, Dan. Let us know.
I decided to play Sean Greymon, and I lost.
So your excuse was that you played a non-meta relevant deck.
I didn't make an excuse. I just said I played Sean Greymon and lost. That's it.
Yeah, he made a statement. It's not an excuse. I got you, Dan.
Thank you.
No, but seriously, what happened? Why'd you lose?
I'm on my.
Are you missing the BT21 stuff or?
Well, yeah, of course.
Let me rephrase. Is it is it because like does the BT21 stuff make it like that much better?
I think
that
so.
It's like, damn, I can see why this isn't really doing too hot right now.
I think so, but that's not even just it. It was just me playing poorly. I just played poorly. Made bad decisions. Made bad calls. Especially when I knew aces were about to happen and I just made bad calls that I shouldn't have made. I'm on my yearly stint of very bad tournament performances in a row, and this is the rock bottom of the year at the moment. Went 0-3 at locals. Round one, Gallon.
0-3, bro? Yeah. When the fuck's the last time that's happened for you?
Last year, when I was going through my stint of losses, you know what I'm saying?
Wow, 0-3. I think the last time I played at a locals, like at your locals, right? The last time I think I played there, I'm pretty sure I went 0-3 or 1-4 or something, like, or 1-3. I either went like 0-4 or 1-3 or something, and I was playing Beelstar post like Gabumon hits, and wow, that was such a bad idea. I cannot believe that I even thought that was a good idea.
Yeah, round one, play Gallon, and he just did Gallon things, and I was like, yeah, cool. And I don't know why I forgot he grabbed Crimson Mode Ace, and I swung it. I didn't go into the Shine Greymon that has a protection, and I got blown up because it was Crimson Mode. I was like, all right, scoop, game two. Again, I don't know what the fuck I was on Sunday. I like forgot how Gallon X worked. For some reason I was thinking, oh, I needed to get it to 0 memory and then I could just neg him to death. No, it's past 0. And totally forgot about that part, and then ended up just losing. Like, I lost within like 15, 20 minutes, like that. It was a quick one. Round two, played against.
Though? Honestly, Dan, it's better to just lose fast, right, bro? Yeah. Lose fast and lose hard, baby. That's my motto.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the Michael Fermato way.
Round two, played against Savaga and friends, Medieval and friends, whatever you want to call it.
Savaga and friends.
And went to game 3. Game 2, I had the Shine OTK basically. And then game 1 and 2, I kept running into goddamn Savaga Ace. I'm just like, I know it's coming. I don't know why. I'm just not like dealing with the stuff that's on board. Mind you, Grand Gale's a thing that goes protection, Digimon protection. So that was a thing. Once again, I made the same misplay I did against in round 1 against Gallant. I should have went into the Shine Greymon that has the protection, Bounce and Marcus, and for some odd reason, I overthunk it and went into BT12 Shine to try to kill something. Didn't matter. He went Savaga Ace, bounced my Shine, and I just lose from that point because there's nothing else I really can do. Then round 3, played against Jessamon, lost in 2-0. That one I was just so slow out of the gates in comparison. And then you go drop Genku for a 6 basically. Effect,
yep.
Evo to save your Huck. Effect Evo to Jessamon. Effect play what's it called? Sistermon. Effect Evo to Jessamon GX.
Sisters. That's
Evo
right.
to Jessamon GX and blow up your security. I'm just like, yeah, I can't. Oh wait, Genku X makes you unaffected by it. It's cool, great. Game 2. And then same thing happened. I think at one point he hard slam or bow huck. Game 2, I was like, if I can't deal with this, I just lose. Legitimately, that's what happened. I was like, yep, it ain't nothing. Like, thing is with Sean right now. Like, besides my like poor decision making, I don't know what crack I was on Sunday. Like, I don't know what it was going on when it came to my like decision making. I was like overthinking it and just whatever. And like, there's no outside of your own stuff on your own turn. There's outside of, again, the burst mode. ace, there's no counterplay on your opponent's turn. So it's like you just sit there and it's just like, can you kill my Shining Greymon? I hope you don't. In today's world, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you don't win, especially you're not like winning or whatever. Like it becomes to a point, it's like, ooh, then you have to rebuild that shine stack. And sometimes you just don't have, you know, your raising set up for it. And especially in a game where it's way faster than it was back in BT13 era, obviously when Shine was king. You can still, you know, OTK people out of nowhere at times, but you just need to see the right pieces and whatnot. Micromanagement, sense of like grabbing certain pieces was like terrible too. Like it was just a bad day in the office. It was one of those things that was like, you know, you're playing basketball, you just went 0 for 10 or like 1 for 10. You know, you had like 5 points with a couple free throws and an assist, and you're just like, you know what? We're gonna forget this existed and we're gonna wash it away and, you know, start off new next week type thing. You know, that was what that locals was for me, because that was just god off.
It's a tough day out here. As I think about it, I didn't have locals, but I have been playing in some knockouts recently. That's been my locals. I've been doing pretty well outside of a mirror match Royal Knights that I lost. That mirror match that I lost, I don't recall exactly how I lost game 1. Game 2, I know I lost because I omnied on. So basically I did my Omni turn, and then he had what's it called? He had Omeka combo into Omni X. Travesty in the Royal Knights mirror is I'm not saying it's who sees their Omni X's more, but it kind of is who sees their Omni X's more. The reason that matters is because when you have one Omni X, like Omni X is just such a powerhouse of a card. It does so much, right? It removes a body always. As a matter of fact, it basically removes 2 bodies, because you bottom deck the one and then you get to swing into the other one with raid. You also have piercing, so you can press damage, and it's a blocker, so it's oppressive. But then it's versatile because of the Omeka play. So when you only see one Omni X, you're like, I have to use this smart. When you see 2, or in my case, I saw one Omni X as like my first security check, and then a second Omni X as my like 3rd security check. So then that tells me, fuck, I need to use this Omni X very sparing, because I'm probably not going to get another one. I have one in hand, and the 4th one is either also in my security or somewhere in my deck of, you know, what, at that point, maybe like 20 to 25 cards left. So it's like, it's kind of a match in that case of like, who sees more Omni X's? Because then my Omeka play is kind of shut off, so to say, especially if I need to go on the offensive and use Omni X. So it kind of sucks. And I'm not saying that's why I lost game 2, but it also kind of is. Because he played 2, as a matter of fact, yeah, he played 3 Omni X's. He played 2 of them, both of which died in security to my Omni X's. And then the 3rd one he had for the, he did that play on me. He did have 2 in hand, because I asked him afterwards and he said he had another Omni X, but he didn't have an Omeka. And where I encountered a problem was he still had 1 security with, I could have taken away the last security. What I couldn't do was get around the blocker on the Omnimon, because he had Cool Boy out. And if I tried to remove the Omni X, he could play out an Omekamon from hand and then do shenanigans. Dan, question, are there any Royal Knights that have the Digivolve on body? I don't think so, right? Probably just the Gankumon.
The Ganku, right?
The starter deck one, but that requires you to like play out a Sistermon or some shit. So it's not viable. I think there's a Ganku. I think the new Ganku X does the Oh no, I might be thinking of Oriomon.
I think I'm thinking of Oriomon. I was getting Digivolve somehow, so it's definitely Something with the new Gankus.
Genku X. Okay, so it is Genku X, but it's only a when Digivolving effect, unfortunately. So, yeah, I don't have any way to de-Digi. Unfortunately, I don't have any way to de-Digivolve in that deck natively. So it's like I just can't get around the Omni X. Because it's just Coolblade is just when a Royal Knight would leave. So the only thing that you can really do is play through it. I should have pressed for game. Is what I should have did, but I tried to save it for the next turn, hoping that like he wouldn't have anything else, and unfortunately he did. He responded to it, which is it is what it is, right? That's the way the game goes. But I know that's why I lost the game too. Just kind of, it's the way the Tootsie, it's the way the, what do they call it? The cookie crumbles. There we go.
Well, hold up before we continue. What the fuck were you about to say with Tootsie
It's
Rolls?
the way the Tootsie rolls.
Wow.
I was like, where? I was like, where the fuck is he going with this one?
It's the way the Tootsie rolls, you know?
That's
like you ever watched Ted Lasso, bro? That's like some shit Ted Lasso would say. Absolutely.
That's just the way the Tootsie rolls. But yeah, that was my Royal Knight's Mirror. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. It was a good back and forth nonetheless. It's a very cinematic matchup. I said this gosh, how many pods ago? I don't know.
Cinematic.
I said this. Yeah, it was pretty cinematic. It had some like really, some really cinematic moments. Yeah, for sure. I said this to Dan a few podcasts ago, that I didn't like the Gallant Mirror match because I just didn't. I think it was probably that like December Ultimate Cup maybe, or I think it was summertime. I can't remember exactly. But I wanted to play Gallantmon. I just didn't want to play Gallantmon Mirror. That's because the Gallantmon Mirror sucks complete ass. It's literally build, stack, response. Either you have a response and then it's like, okay, cool, try to rebuild again before you fuck me over. Or you just go back and forth popping stacks. I don't care for matches like that. That's not fun. The Royal Knight's Mirror is a lot better. It's still a slug to get through, just because of the nature of like how things go. But because of like the versatility and the Royal Knights that you have and the difference in deck lists, I think that's a really big factor. It really makes it so that you can really work both players can really like work each other, because you never really, outside of like your general combos, Omeka into Omni X or drop an Omni X, you never really know what the other person is playing. So it makes for some fun matchups. So it was definitely enjoyable nonetheless. Some other matches I played against Coach, who was playing Dorugoromon, who took me for a fucking run. Dan was there for that match. That shit took me for a run because, gosh, Dorugora kind of feels like modern day Greymon, so to say, with like, once you see your pieces and you start like god stacking, like your boss monster is so good at what it does, but your line is also very efficient at doing what it does, which is how it used to be back in the day for Greymon, You Digivolve, gain a memory, Greymon X, Schoolboy, draw gain, then you go Metal Greymon, raid, drop tamer, like stuff like that. That's what Dorugoromon facilitates. So when like Coach saw his shit, fuck it. Schoolboys were out of here. Royal Knights were gone. I got saved because fuck was it? I mean, obviously Omeka Coolboy saved me. I think that's what it was. Alphamon Oryukin cracked. Played Omni with Omni X and Oryukin in source. Omni X end of turn swing, check security, gain 3 memory. So it made what was probably like 4 cost Omni play a 1 cost at the end of the day. Stupid combos. It makes me regret ever selling my Royal Knight arts for sure. Y'all know the circumstance, or you two know the circumstances in which I sold my cards. Audience doesn't know. Unfortunately, you guys don't need to know. But I do regret selling that deck because, man, that deck is fun. That would be, if there was a deck that I would never sell, it would be Royal Knights. Like I unfortunately paid a lot for my arts to get them back, and I don't mind. I know I paid a price premium for them, but that it is what it is. You know, you buy what you can within your ability. I'm never selling this shit again. No way. This is my baby. This is like what was Imperial to Michael. It's what Royal Knights is to me.
Hey, we've still got Hunters, baby.
Yeah, all right. How do you feel about the new Hunter support?
I think it's pretty cool, actually. I was kind of really hoping for
something more.
The
Brave Snatcher?
Yes, that's what it's called, Brave Snatcher.
Is that I didn't
actually watch the anime, so
gotcha.
But I was hoping for Brave Snatcher, because apparently, like, some busted ass shit. But we didn't get that. But I like the support that we got. I don't think that Hunters has ever really been a bad deck. It's just been outsped and outpaced a lot of its time, and also Aces kind of hurt it pretty bad. Not hurt it bad, but like the fact that you don't get memory back from removing the ace because it's getting tucked kind of hurt.
Right.
But
I got the combo for you. I got the perfect combo for you. Man.
All right, let's hear Dan Cook. Let's hear Dan Cook.
Yo, I've already talked about this, bro. You throw, you do your shenanigans, superior mode, you put an ace underneath the tamer, and then let's say for some reason they swing on their turn on some dumb shit. You go into Grand Kawaga ace, blow that tamer, and there you go. You get 4 free memory and a tamer removal. You know what I'm saying? And now your turn, swing 2 checks.
This honestly that's not too bad.
It's gotta be what we have to do. I'm not gonna lie. No, but I think the support's good for it. I don't think it's ever been necessarily bad. It's just I don't know if the support helps it do the things that it wasn't already bad at better, if that makes sense. The support makes the deck do what it did. Like, it helps its game plan, right? And it made it better, but it didn't bring its like bad matchups any support, I don't think. Like, it, a lot of times, like, I find what Bandai will do is like they'll take a deck and they'll be like, okay, like, this is what it's been losing to, or this is what it needs, or whatever, like protection of some sort, or if a deck's really bad into like the digivolving or something, they'll give it protection from that or whatever. Hunters got none of that. So, and instead they just got more aggro options, which I think is fine for the deck. If you dodge your bad matchups, you're winning, right? Fuck it. Who cares? Full send. I also think they were trying to kind of, obviously they wanted to spotlight the adventure archetype, right? So I don't think that they were trying to really print anything extremely busted for an old tamer-driven archetype at that point, right? Because they're trying to show off like, oh, these are the new tamers we want you to play. Like, this is the improved version of Hunters. It's multiple colors, right? So there's that.
Oh, right, with the hero stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
Do you think you can adopt any of the hero stuff into Hunters?
Probably not. I feel like a lot of it was like very weirdly specific, and you already end up bottom decking so much bullshit in Hunters because of the way the searches work in that deck that I can't even imagine like trying to cut things for non-Hunter teams.
Then you got the new Digimon that's Crash 1 Draw 2. Pretty good.
That's like, that's about it. Yeah. It's like
Digimon, pretty solid.
I mean, the new Digimon's good. It just kind of replaces like the Omni Shout that we were playing, basically.
Right.
And then superior mode, I think is probably better, honestly.
That's what I mean. Yeah, like the new. You think the new superior mode is better than the old superior mode?
Kind of, sort of. I mean, raid post piercing is pretty good.
It is really good. I don't know.
You can get them pretty beefy pretty easily too.
Yeah.
I think, I agree with Dan on the earlier, what was it, Grand Kuaga take. I think you just need to utilize aces more. Unfortunately, you're going to get fucking popped anyways.
Yeah, you just
like
go
most
quartz.
times.
In today's world, quartz ones.
Right. Probably is just turbo quartz.
You already have access to quartz, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think the other issue is like when Hunters came out, decks were already starting to get more access to the Tamer Hate, right? Obviously, like Black War Greymon and all that.
That was the only one though.
Yeah, but they were like, that's what I mean. They were starting to get access to the Tamer Hate, right? And now fast forward now, and there's way more Tamer Hate in the game at this point.
But
so I feel like that didn't go in its favor.
The new Taguro is really good too, because the start of your main phase, place one Digimon to save and text or hero. But
hell yeah, that new one's fucking solid.
Draw one, gain one, memory too.
Yes, sir. I just don't like. I wish it would have gotten new colors for the Tamer. That was the only thing I didn't like.
It's purple, red.
Yeah,
I mean, at least you got purple, red.
You get immediate dual color. You don't have to worry about Mikey in it as much.
Right,
it is nice. The same thing, right?
No,
you want the Mikey. So you want the red Tamer? You want the Mikey because he lets you draw.
Oh, you don't
so does the new Tagiru.
Yeah, but so it's like, but like that's what I'm saying. Like you want
draw.
Both because you want to be able to do the draw.
Because of the draw. Gotcha.
So like I said, I do like the support. It's just like, damn, like sometimes I'm just like, I wish they would have given me a little bit more. Cause you know, you're greedy, right? It's your favorite deck. You always want a little bit more. I'm not saying like,
right.
The support's great. I'm not talking shit now.
Hey, yo, cross up
sometimes
though?
You're like, I want that.
We crossing
shit.
people up.
Yo,
that option pretty good too.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Which option are you talking about?
Cross up. It's literally called cross
the purple
up.
One. For some reason, I was like looking red because I was expecting it to be like Shoutmon related.
No.
You know what else is tough about the deck is that it already the room in that deck is so fucking tight, bro. Like it is like so hard to find room for anything with how that deck has to be built.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, we didn't do a BT21 set preview, did we?
No.
I don't know. You guys kicked me off the pod for fucking 17 years. So did you guys do one?
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't. We didn't do one. All right, cool. So we got something to do for another time.
We better hurry up. We got a whole 2 weeks before it comes out.
Yeah, it's fucking dropping fast.
Boo-hoo. Gets done. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Hunters. Okay. So I guess first big topic, we've got some events that we can go over. We've had, what was it? An Ultimate Cup and
regionals.
2 regionals. Oh, they were all regionals? Okay.
Like start. You talking about like start of the new format, right?
Yeah, with like post ban list.
Yeah, I think it's all regionals.
All right, so yeah, it's 3 regionals. We got TAC games, we got Sang Sang events, and we've got 4 TCGs Pasadena regionals, in which we saw 3 different decks take the top spot. I think the first one to highlight, because it's probably the funniest one, is Tsukuyamon. Tsukuyamon is no longer a trash deck. Yeah, but that's what makes it funny, that it's no longer a trash deck. Never in a million years would we have sat here and thought on pod that Tsukuyamon would ever not be a trash deck. But you know what the key was? They dusted themselves a Rika, and they said, we don't need Rika. We can survive without her power. And it's just pure Tsukuyamon. Not even Kuzuha, not even the one of. So
they still
honestly,
play,
it's kind of cool.
They still play the BT7 Rika.
Yeah, I thought they played the BT19 Rika.
Whatever it was.
So the topping list from TAC Games, they didn't play any Rika at all.
Really?
Yeah, the first
that's
place
rare,
list,
because that's literally just like the 4 of it. That's it.
Gosh, yeah, I see the 9th place list. They got
you gain a memory or 8th place, whatever draw, something like that. When you use an option, that's 2 costs. So like it makes sense for them to use this. So it's surprising they didn't use it. But I mean, whatever, I guess.
Yeah, I see the 8th place one using 4 Rika. But yeah, it's the BT17 Rika. It's cool. You know, I think it's really nice to see an alternative yellow deck not named Tau Loop. And also like an actual yellow deck.
I did think Tau Loop
not named Patamon
cool,
either.
Yeah, and also not named Patamon.
Not vaccine or some shit. Yeah.
Like I know the entire reason that this deck is like really good to use is because it still has elements of Tau Loop, because you can still get into Ruin Mode and also Volder Arm for really cheap. But with that all in mind, it's still a combo heavy deck, right? You still need to see your scrambles and your plugins. Yeah, you can search them out, but it's still a piece that you need to pull into hand. You still need to be at level 6 to Digivolve into the level 7. So you need to, Digivolve up the chain pretty much, so to say. There is an overflow if they are using the Tau Ace. Some of them are, some of them aren't. There's a lot that makes it like, I think, fairer than Tau Loop actually was. So it is pretty cool to see. I will never play Sakuya. I dusted my hands of that shit a long time ago, but it's cool to see for sure.
Yeah, it's dumb as all hell now because he's legit going into the new BT19 Tau. You go Evo, Effect, play option for free. Guess what option you play for free? The new Evo, the Evo plugin option. Evo to Sakuyamon for free. Effect to Sakuyamon. Draw 2. Just a free draw 2 for no reason. Second effect, use an option. Guess what option you use? Evo option or scramble, because it's so dumb that they can use the scrambles. And guess what? They basically have 8 ways to Evo for free. And so, or at least a reduced play cost, a reduced cost, right? And then you go into that, then you can go to Sakuya X. Sakuya X has nonsensical effects of having a token that can gain rush. Then you go, you swing, effect of the all turns effect. When it like swings, you can use an option, and then when you use the option, not suspend, whatever it is, something like that. Guess what? Evo again into Volder Arm. The Volder Arm is unsuspended. You get all the Volder Arm's effects. Now that's swinging 2 checks unsuspended. Now you can swing another 2 checks. Now that's 4 altogether. You have a token you made. Guess what? That's 5 checks. You can OTK the F out of anyone nowadays with Sakuyamon. It's dumb as all hell the way it can play. And the deck is actually not like, it says Peach Reliant, but it's so easy to search because you can play your trainings for free. You can play boosts for free.
Yeah, I feel like they also play fucking yellow memory boost, and they play.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, too, you can play them. Oh, my fault. I didn't. It's like my fault. I didn't have a scramble to play to or Evo. I'll just play a training for free or a boost for free, and then I'll play another one, and I'll still get my piece eventually, and then Evo. You know what I'm saying? Like you do so much with it. The deck is super.
Deck's a little cracked.
Versatile. A lot of searching going on because all the Renamons can basically grab whatever they need, and then the Rika. I think there's also an on play search too, to grab whatever piece you need. So it's really easy to get into that combo nowadays versus prior. Obviously, prior they didn't have the Volder Arm, and instead you were to probably go to Ruin Mode to just stun the board. But honestly, in today's world, after Ruin Mode, you just go Volder Arm and do easy 5 checks because you get the token for free. And if you're a madman and want to do the Sakuyamon that also creates a token, not just Sakuya X, there goes game, because I think that one gets rushed too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you do a lot of stupid shit, and you don't even need to run the stupid made modes either.
Hey, I haven't played against the deck, so I can't comment on it. I know the last time I commented on a deck, which was Galaxy, I was like, I've come around to saying, fuck Galaxy. All my homies hate Galaxy. So I haven't played against Greymon, so I can't say anything about it. I just think it's really cool that we have another deck that's a little bit unique in terms of nothing like we've seen before from Yellow. Yellow's always been, let me just recover.
It is an interesting yellow type of deck, right? Like being able to play your, and when you think about it, I mean, being able to play your options for free in concept was always kind of crazy with that deck. Except it was not very good before.
Right.
But back in EX2, holy shit.
Yep.
God, wow, was that like 4 years ago at this point, right? It was a cool concept back then. But it's nice to see it like fully realized.
But
I can't hate it.
It's like one of those things like Gallimon, right? It just kept getting support thrown at it. Eventually, it
had to be good at some point.
Eventually, it had to be good, right? Especially when it's like, all right, let's say you get like 6 waves of support. There's one good card here. There's one good card here. There's one good card here. Eventually, it's just gonna all add up. Like everybody knew the Evo plugin. It was like, oh, this is pretty good. Like being able to do Evo for free and play it for free potential. Like you could pop off, but there was no payoff for it. Now there's a cracked payoff with it. So as I told Varney when Sakuya X came out, I was like, yo, this is gonna make the deck like really good. And Sakuya X is the way it goes.
I'll be honest, I'm still pretty surprised that Gallimon ended up good. I thought that deck was never gonna get there.
Again, it was one of those things where it's like it was bound to be, right? And then they made busted ass Gallon X.
So all it needed, clearly, was just a better X-Sensei body. Straight up. That's all Gallant needed. They fed him so many Gallantmons over the years. Go ahead.
Real quick, because we were just talking about Genko earlier. How the hell did we get 2 Genko X's before we even get a War Greymon X? A second one. What type? Genko X came out way later. Why the hell did we not have that? Why we don't have a War Grey X yet? Like, this is blasphemy to me.
Whoa. Let's take a step back. I feel like I understand where you're coming from, but I feel like taking shots at Genku, or no, sorry. Whoa. I don't like where this is going. Take a step back.
What do you mean?
Cool Digimon. It's cool Digimon, bro.
It is. I'm not saying anything wrong with it, but how the hell did we get 2 Genku X's before we even get a second War Grey X when War Grey X was like the first X anybody line?
No.
I blame the community. I 100% blame the community for the lack of Greymon support until now.
Say it right. We got a second Genku X, and we also got a
second Gallon X.
Another no. Well, yes,
and a
but
Melga X.
Not just that. Not just those. We saw a third Gaiomon before we saw a second War Grey X.
Yeah. Which is fine.
To be fair,
because Gaiomon came out in the first set. Came out in the same set.
But that's what I'm saying. We're on our third Gaiomon, right?
Hey, whoa. If you think about it, they're all Greymon forms.
No.
Right. But the point is, Gaiomon and War Grey X, same set. And then they gave Gaiomon, alternative being. So, all right, cool. You got a second Gaiomon. And then they said, you know what? Here's this promo. And War Grey is still suffering with just
okay. But to be fair, that War Grey X is actually still really
I
good.
do think it's really good.
But like, damn, why we don't have a second one? Like, this makes no sense.
Well, if you think about it,
Black War Greymon X was the second one.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
That's a cop out as answer, yo.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
There's a cop out answer right there,
They both say, "Oh, what's wrong with black?"
Ain't nothing wrong with black.
What's wrong with black? What, just you put black in front of something and something doesn't count? It's not as good anymore? What's something?
No, it's not as good.
Yeah,
it's
man,
different. It's just different.
Dan wants to say it, but he won't say it. Yeah, black is black. Oh, wait, what?
I said black don't crack. That's what I said.
Wild.
Ain't nothing wrong with Black War Greymon X. It's just not War Greymon X. That's all.
No, it is actually fucking insane that we don't have a War Greymon X.
I do agree. I think War Greymon X is one of those cards that is just like, man, if only I had like a good supporting line to play, right? Because Gallant X, the BT9 one, I never cared about that Gallant X. The new one is like, oh, this card is great. The line only helps it. If we got a new, better, updated Greymon support that wasn't just...
We have 2 Omni X's as well.
Right. We do have 2 Omni X's. And if we had...
No, it's 3 now. Hold on, my fault. It's 3.
Yes, right.
We do have 3 Omni X's.
BT5 and then BT10 and then now
the new one.
And we still out here with one Wargrey X, two Melga X's, Ganku X's, and Gallon X.
Yo, you know what's crazy though? That new Omni X, like if Wargrey X was better, bro, you could really OTK the fuck out of somebody with Wargrey X with the new Omni X.
It is. Sure. I'm telling you, it's a good card still though.
Because you could fucking, let's see, you still play your Sec +1 Greymons, Metal Grey X with the Sec +1. Let's just say you use, I hate to say this because I feel like we need a better, but like, that's what I'm saying. Like if we had like a better like War Greymon to end on that wasn't just necessarily like, oh, I have to get into War Grey X to really like kick this combo off, because that's realistically what you need. You could get,
bro, that you're sleeping on the BT14 War Greymon. I'm telling you, that card's actually, that card's really 13. Sorry, yeah. Wait, no, 14.
No, it is.
I'm right.
It's
14.
Rare. The secret rare one you're talking about, right?
Yes, the secret rare. Yeah, that card is actually so good.
Raid Sec +1 piercing, so you get 3 checks for digivolving. Swing if you have X antibody and source. Go into War Grey X. Gain a memory back for each card removed. So you're going to do what? A total of 4 checks.
If you're playing the red tie,
5 checks, and then Omni X for game.
Right. I mean, so you're just saying Blitz Omni for the game like before.
Right. It's Blitz Omni game, but you get to remove an additional body.
No one cares if you're fucking blasting through that shit, dog.
Yeah, I'm trying to go fast.
Regular ass Greymon OTK. No, you didn't name anything different.
But that's what I'm saying.
The year is 2025. It is April 7th, 2025. Barney has just discovered what.
No. What I'm saying is,
discover what Greymon has been doing for 20 years.
What I'm saying is, I wish we had a better War Greymon to end on that wasn't just like, you know, like, sure, you can OTK somebody with that whole combo, but I wish there was something better to end on. Like, I do agree. I like BT14. I also like BT12, BT3,
the old BT.
All the 3 of them are great, but like it needs
outside the star decks.
It needs more, right? It needs something. It needs to be updated. We need. You know what we need? What did you say, Dan?
I'll be honest. I think what War Greymon's biggest issue always was consistency, no matter what.
Yeah.
That deck can never. It doesn't matter what you do, you're gonna brick. I don't know how, but it literally doesn't matter if you ran like 4 memory boosts, 4 trainings, you're bricking.
That's a fact.
It's not happy. You're bricking.
So, that's what you do need. Something like the Gallantmon effect. No, it's real simple. Okay. Just something like the Growlmon X. I talked about it the other day. Just a simple like draw 1, trash 1. Even something as simple as that. Just trying to filter and get more cards in hand, but that you don't have to play an option for. Just more ways to digivolve and cycle through. What we need is a new Greymon X line, not War Grey X. Just the new Greymon X. That's updated for today's standards, yes.
And War Grey X, like, why would we just take out? Why would we just discredit War Grey X?
Is great.
No one cares about it.
Him.
If it's still that great, we be playing it.
Because the supporting line isn't good.
All they have to do is unban or unlimit. Sorry, we don't do bans in this fucking stupid game.
What are you talking about? Matt has 0.
No. Yeah, I was gonna say Matt got banned.
Yeah, there's like 3 cards on the fucking ban list, bro.
2.
I know. Can you imagine?
2?
Matt's war crimes were as egregious as Mega Digimon Fusion.
But they were. You know, it's so. It is really so weird how this game just puts everything to 1. It's like super weird. I don't get it still. After all these years of playing this game, it still does not make sense to me.
I agree.
The life we live, unfortunately. It'd be great. It'd be great to do semi-limits like Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Just add like 20 cards to semi-limits just this past.
Bro,
like, semi-limits works.
That new Yu-Gi-Oh! List was fucking wild.
The whole Razio deck was like semi-limit. I'm like, all right, we're gonna just cut consistency, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some decks,
right, but I feel like
works.
Weird.
Right.
Imagine having a 2 instead of a 4 of a consistency piece. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that just slows decks down. Like training.
To me, it's so crazy that they will do the pair bannings or whatever, but they won't just fully commit to either getting rid of cards completely or like semi-limits or something.
Hey, for what it's worth,
Mother. It's not Mother. You can't play D-Reaper without Mother. So like you can't just ban Mother.
No, but you know what I mean? Like it's weird that they will go that far for the pair bans, right?
So what
but
I was
they won't just
is,
commit to hitting cards all the way.
I got
like
that,
HPD, like all these years.
Oh, they're not hitting HPD. They're never gonna hit HPD at this point. But it took them so long to do a pair ban that was for gameplay, because they did the first pair ban, which was for looping, unintended loop. But I remember back
unintended loop, bro. Fucking suck my dick. They read those cards and they were like, "Yeah, this makes sense." Fucking, they did that to themselves.
Yeah, we still have a stupid Galaxy Tamer running around.
I literally do not understand. Whatever. I don't care.
All right, question. No, question. Do you think EX05 was a mistake?
That whole set was dumb. That whole set was retarded. He's like, when you looking back at it now, it's just like, bro, what crack were they smoking when they did it?
Do you think EX5 was a mistake? Do you think they should have never created EX5? Many people seem to think so.
Bro, that might be like the most busted set of all time when you look at it.
I mean, dude, think of like the Gabu X line that was in that. Galaxy,
Anubis,
Leviathan.
Like
Leopard X is broken low key. It's just not a good archetype.
Right, exactly.
The moment he gets crack cards, it's just gonna be broken as fuck, and then we're gonna be like, oh,
Protoform was in that set.
Protoform, yep.
The Dobertons started in that one.
You know what's really funny is when that set released, I remember being like, yeah, it's pretty mid actually.
Yeah, you were.
Fang Long is nice as hell. It's just in a sucky deck. Like Fang Long is on the board. You're just like SOL.
So what Devas need is a Cool Boy-esque tamer now that 100%. Reduces cost 100%. When you play the Devas. And I feel like it's super easy to give them one, right, Dan?
Devas? No, it's not. What's their tamer?
They didn't have any.
I'm their team.
Yeah.
They didn't have anybody really like doing their bidding.
Nah.
All right. So
their
then
bidding
what
was
if
the Sovereigns were like, Devas, go attack the people. That's basically what it was.
So we have an Arukendimon and Mummymon tamer.
Sure.
So,
but there's no human form of Sovereigns to be like, all right, we could use this as a tamer.
I feel like if they really wanted to, if they wanted to stretch it,
I mean,
they could take something like Antilomon. They could also do that.
I mean,
I don't know if Davis. I don't think
they could just make some stupid ass delay option.
Dan, are we supposed to be getting like a Fanglong Ruin mode in an upcoming set, or am I thinking of? No, I'm just thinking of
Ruin mode, but I mean, I don't see why we
EX10, right? Because that's all the anime villains. So but we should be getting Davis support.
Fanglong,
I know
Ruin mode wasn't in that. That wasn't only.
I know that wasn't in it, but technically speaking, we should be getting Davis support. In EX10, right?
Yeah. I just don't know, like, how do you give a tamer to a deck that doesn't have a tamer? You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes sense how they did it with you, unless they go Liberators. The Liberators route. That's the easiest. That's the only way they could do. Go Liberators route, and then you just go Davis. All right, let's make a new guy. Their tamers, call it a day. That's the only way they can do it.
Right.
Because honestly, with Liberators just broke the mold for anything could be anything. Like, you give Royal Knights a tamer who didn't even they never had a tamer unless you were to go, let's make the Yggdrasil human form a tamer. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was only the whole process it was. And then they were like, all right, Liberator's cool. Cool Boy is also going to be named Cool Boy in Liberators. And he's going to be, the tamer for Royal Knights, I guess. I mean, we still haven't seen him in action, but like,
So wasn't Cool Boy like in a manga, but like he wasn't even really like big. It was just like some like passing appearance or something.
Not passing, but like he was like, analog use in the sense like, all right, that's Cool Boy over there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so
something like that.
So Liberator really brought him to the forefront.
Yeah. That version.
Gotcha.
Because he's a little bit different, obviously. It's that version of Cool Boy.
Gotcha. So that'll be interesting. I am interested to see what they do for Devas in EX10, but Yeah, as far as EX5 being a problem set, I mean, you didn't answer the question. Do you think EX5 should have never been made?
I feel like it's a it's a loaded question. Yeah, I mean, well, because at the time, right, when it released, it was actually...
We said, Dan and I said...
It was still a good set, right? Because obviously we all looked at that Gabu X line and we were all like, that is a fucking problem.
Right.
So we all knew immediately. We were like, that's an issue. I just don't think that, like, we didn't have the clairvoyance to, like, look fucking 10 sets in the future and be like, wow, all these cards are still broken. But also, who would have thought that, I don't know, what, a year and a half ago at this point? Longer? Like a year and a half ago, right? I feel like usually Digimon decks, right? The power creep, not that like the power creep in this game is like overly awful or anything, but we move pretty fast with decks. So like decks are only so good for so long. Mm-hmm. Recently, we've hit this point where like decks are good for longer,
right?
Way longer, right? So a year and a half ago, I would have never been like, oh yeah, like all of these cards could be an issue. Now it's like, oh, maybe it is a problem.
You know, that's a good point you make, though.
Yeah,
because it's funny that that came along with the shift in design that we saw in BT16. Like BT16, it was our BT9, and in BT9, you know, we had the OTK decks, which were pretty much nerfed sometime in BT10, along with Crossheart. And then BT10 we had
Crossheart. It was later than that.
No,
was it later?
Yeah.
So was it just Crossheart that was nerfed then?
Well, Alphamon was hit and Cross was hit, I think.
Okay,
they hit Grandis and Melga later.
But Melga, Grandis,
I think it was
and then the first Mirage hit. Was that what it was? Melga, Grandis, first later. Mirage were all at the same time.
That was later.
No,
there was something else that got hit with Melga and Grandis. What the fuck was it?
Yeah,
Yellow Hype.
Blue.
Wait, no, not Yellow Hype.
Because they hit Blossomon at the same time.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
They didn't hit those till way later. Because I remember talking on Pod, and I was like, I just don't understand why we're hitting Grandis now after all this time. Like it's, and then they dropped. They dropped all the new books and shit later.
Essentially, decks from that point were having like 1 to 2 set life cycles. BT12, you know, we had Beelzemon. BT13, there was Shine. Beelzemon was still good. BT14, we didn't really have anything. I think BT14 was just kind of like a filler set, so to say. Decks that were good were still good. Then we got to BT15, we got Numamon. And then around that time, we had also gotten EX5 in between. So they had hit Anubis, and then they also hit APOC. So we had those, like, what was it? Like 2 weeks of APOC. But yeah, up until that point, we had like basically 1 to 2 formats of a deck being good. But now come BT16, Magnamon is still relevant, obviously, because Digimon immunity is good. Imperial is still relevant because the deck does good things. What else is good here? Goromon. It may not be topping, but it's still a relevant deck because it's still good at what it does. Fenry. I mean, it's changed, but I mean, it changed in BT17. So it just went from one iteration to the next. Still good. Still doing what it does. Now we come to BT14.
Fenry is back to being relevant again.
Right. Now BT14 is the relevant Fenry. You go to 17, now you've got Red Hybrid, which was probably the only eternally good deck, but that's because they kept getting support every few sets. So now you've got new Red Hybrid. You had Doragora again, Imperial again.
Did you name Leviamon already?
Leviamon, right. So that was EX5, so that lived, and then BT15 and got Levia X, and that was good, and it's been good since. So you could probably say since sort of BT15 that BT15 didn't, I guess you kind of had busted. A busted card because APOC was APOC. But looking outside of that, BT15, I think BT15 is a super underrated set in terms of like how people felt about it.
Whoa. You gonna disrespect Numamon X and Monzi X
in BT15.
Yeah, that's when they came out.
But so that's what I'm saying. Like, I think BT15 was super underrated because everybody associated it with like, oh, Apox hit. Like, you remember BT15 boxes were cheap as fuck. Nobody wanted to buy it. And at a point, singles were cheap as fuck. And if you look at the price of cards from it now, for example, Megadramon, which me and you looked at, we were like, yo, this card is fantastic. That was like a $2 or $3 SR that is currently $9. Let alone the alt art, which I picked up, which were like $8 to $9 and is now a $17 SR. But that set had a lot of good cards. The Phoenix line came out of that. Gabu had its good line. You had the entire second part of the vaccine line with Garomon and Andre Woman. You had obviously the what's it called? Not Tyrant, but like you had like an actual insectoid line for Tyrant to play with Tento and Herc and Mega Kabu. Yeah, you had Numa X and Monze X. You had some Machine Dramon support. You had the Mega Dramon, Marvin Jackson, Levia X. Like, that was a super underrated set. I don't think enough people look at that set. They just associated with APOC got hit, set's trash. But that wasn't the case at all. So I guess we could take it a step back and say BT15 is where that shift started, because a lot of those decks are still relevant. You know, Yellow Vaccine, even though TK got hit, still relevant. Levia X, Levia, relevant. Doru Gora, you know, relevant. I don't know if I mentioned Insectoids being relevant, but they are.
Yeah, you're repeating yourself now.
Gabu, I mean, they're dead on
Dan said, yeah, shut the fuck up now.
Yeah, right. Gabu, you know, they're dead until like their next wave of support, but we've had such a longer lifespan. And I feel like players are now, we've seen people complain now that decks are staying in the meta longer. I feel like it wasn't a problem before because it was like, here's my deck. My deck is good for 2 sets and then my deck is dead later. The only deck that got perpetual support was Greymon.
I think that a lot of card games will hit that point where, again, I don't really think the power creep in Digimon is an issue, but you get to the point where power creep gets so good that you can't really get faster. Like, you can't out creep the power creep. I don't know the right way to say that, but like, yeah, so like in Yu-Gi-Oh, right, you could have an issue where like, this is really the last time I played Yu-Gi-Oh, so I'll just compare it to that. I was playing back when Thunder Dragons were still in the game, right, at full power. That was a deck for like 2.5 fucking 3 years or something. And it's like, eventually you make cards that are so good that even the new sets that are being power creeped or whatever you want to fucking call it, like the old decks are still going to be good enough to compete with them, right? You can't just go full on absolutely crazy and break the game by destroying all those old decks by introducing like super crazy strong cards, right? So like we've kind of hit that point where I feel like it almost balances it out, where now like decks from 2 years ago can compete still, maybe not as good or maybe not at like the highest level, but still like right there, top, you know, tier 2, teetering tier 2, end of tier 1 decks, right? And I think that that's good. Actually, but it's weird. A lot of people really don't like that though.
Yeah,
like,
it's crazy.
Like in One Piece, like a lot of people are all for this, all for rotation in One Piece. I don't like rotation personally. That's, I guess it's just me. I don't know. But a lot of people are like, oh, thank God we don't have to deal with these early leaders anymore, these early cards, all this stuff. And I'm like, why? Like, you get to keep your cards forever and keep playing with them forever. But a lot of people hate it, I guess. Like, I guess it is kind of annoying, right, to be playing like your brand new deck that you just built, you just spent money on, and then someone with literally a deck from OPO1, like Zoro, is like still literally a tier 1 leader.
Yeah,
I guess that would be like frustrating, but like I think it's cool, honestly. And I honestly feel like that speaks more to like a healthy designed game, that older cards are still relevant in today, you know, than just having rotations. Like, I think it's actually healthy that Digimon cards from 2 years ago are still so good now. Like, because that
Analog
means
Youth?
the game hasn't been exact. Analog Youth, perfect example. Could you imagine if they tried to power creep Analog Youth? I can't even imagine the bullshit they'd have to fucking make to like get Analog Youth out of the meta. You know?
Yeah, no. I think it also depends on the type deck that people complain. Like, I don't think people would complain as much if it was what's a good deck from back in the day that was meta relevant.
Lord Nightmon.
Sure, we'll see. I think during that time,
I don't know what you're aiming for. I don't know what you're aiming for, so I'm just throwing one out.
I think let's say a deck that people like that was a meta relevant deck. We can say Lord Nightmon because I think people look fondly at Lord Nightmon now than they did previously. Then versus, and that was in today's meta. I don't think they will complain as much versus something like Mirage. Mirage has always been annoying since day one, and people never liked Mirage since day one. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I think that's what the difference is when you say like some of the decks. Unfortunate, a lot of the decks that we don't like are really good. Mirage is one of them. Galaxy is one of them. You know what I'm saying? Just because those decks just inherently broke the system, like the way the game works. And that's why people like don't like those decks that stay around longer, just because they last a long time.
Yeah, but I feel like in the case of Mirage, I don't even think that is a deck that should have ever lasted that long. Anyways, like that deck should have been like murdered on a ban list like 7 years ago.
Like some of those decks, they just adapt with time. Like you mentioned about like Thunder Dragons. I don't remember if Thunder Dragons was adaptable, but there was like, there's definitely decks in Yu-Gi-Oh where like
I don't think
they lasted way longer only because they adapted to the new format. Oh, they hit a card. All right, cool. We're able to replace that with a new engine or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And so like Mirage,
I don't think Thunder Dragons ever needed it because Colossus, you just Colossus.
Yeah.
You're just like, all right.
But I'm saying like I don't think because at that time like there wasn't Lynx. I don't think yet. So or Lynx was just starting.
Lynx were out.
I don't remember.
It was like the end of Link format when they hit Thunder Dragons.
I'll give an example. Like Spirals was like an example of like a deck that just kept like evolving through the times. During their like before they just murdered and completely destroyed that deck. That deck kept like evolving through the time of its lifespan. Right early on, it was this weird different road deck that could make a cool little board and so on. And then when it became meta relevant, it was like, all right, I'm gonna U-link the F out of you with Firewall Dragon. What happened to Firewall Dragon? It got banned. All right, cool. I'm gonna still U-link you in a different way. All right. Mermaid got hit. All right, cool. I'm gonna still pop off regardless. It had this cool board. Mermaid got banned. All right, cool. I'm gonna do something else and like still keep doing. Like it just kept changing with the times. Well, you know what I'm saying? When everything got hit, like Goblin Mermaid got hit. All right, cool. And then when Master Plan went to, I think it was before it got hit, and then we got Magician Souls. All right, cool. I'm gonna run 3 Magician Souls effect. I'm gonna dump Master Plan to the trash, and now I'm gonna pop off anyways. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the coolest thing about that deck that was able to evolve throughout the times. When that era of time for that deck, like that's when Mirage became like, all right, cool. You hit Buka, no problem. You hit Magalga, I don't care. What am I use? Zudomon. All right, cool. I'm gonna use Hexablow eventually. I'm gonna use, all the floodgates that have been around and stuff like that, Oh, Huang Kun could get me free memory, and I'll use, the Buka, the fish egg. You know what I'm saying? Like it just evolved throughout the time. It just sucked that it just took so long to get hit.
I think that also speaks to like Konami and Bandai's philosophy on hitting cards sometimes. To me, I'll never understand how they didn't look at Mirage and just say that Mirage was the problem. Like
the last go around, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how they weren't.
Now I won't like say like off star like
I guess all the way back in BT11, right? It probably was fine. But you know what I mean? Like after like the second time, bro, like we are aware of which card is the one to hit at this point. Like kill the fucking deck.
The previous ban list, not even the one that came out. The one that should have been hit was that one right there.
Yep.
Yeah. But I'll be honest. There's a lot of times in this game where I feel like they just let things go on longer than they should have. Like we spoke on Grandis and Melga before. Dude, the fact that Melga lasted as long as it did, and what was that just because
China didn't have the promos? That's why we had to wait till they got the promos.
Yeah, like that, bro, why did we that was around for way long, 3 sets, 4 sets, just being a fucking minute. 3 sets, I think. But still, wow, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah, I guess on that note, in talking about that, though, the one thing I would follow up and say is that, I hope that unification lets them look at the global meta, blah, blah, blah. But speaking about unification and global meta, we have gotten a producer letter volume 2 for the 5th anniversary of the Digimon card game, which I will read for you all if you are an audio listener and you haven't heard about it. So the producer writes to us, he says, hello to all tamers around the world who are enjoying the Digimon card game, aka the DCG. Thank you all for your support for the game. In this producer letter, we plan to tell everyone about the recent Bandai Card Game Fest, blah, 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 upcoming new products, and Digimon Elysion, which was announced at Digimon Con. So first of all, at at Anti Card Game Fest. Congratulations to the world's top tamer, Douraku, who topped with Galaxy. If you guys didn't know, one, I should say, sorry. We were impressed by the skillful card playing and overjoyed to see Invisimon in action. I'm sure they didn't expect that. The first tournaments after the game environment for each language are aligned.
No, didn't expect that? Me.
Yeah, right? Invisimon tier 1, right?
Yeah.
Hashtag never forget. Our development team and event team are also working hard to keep this year exciting, so please be sure to join in. They put the restricted list. They specifically said, we'd like to express our sincere apologies that it became necessary to add so many cards to the banned and restriction list. We feel like banning or restricting cards betrays the trust of everyone playing the game, collecting the cards, and who work with us to provide and distribute the cards. After considering the issues carefully with those involved for a while and asking ourselves what makes the DCG enjoyed by everyone and who are those interested in starting to play the game with global unification, before making this decision, thank you for your kind understanding. They then announced some new products, which is the Adventure Decks, as well as World Conversions, which features the Hero cards, and Appmon, which they specifically said, this booster feels especially commemorative to us as it also brings Appmon into the game, which we've been wanting to do for a while. They then announced, as was announced the other day during Digimon Con 2025, Booster 23 is planned in October and is titled Hacker's Slumber, which is the second Cyber Sleuth set that we will be receiving. They then talked about Digimon Elysion, which is a new project to make the Digimon card game playable as an app. Of course, we're planning it so that current DCG players can enjoy playing using the app game while making it easier to try out the game for those who haven't before. Dan, that's something you and I touched on very early during that reaction stream and when we did our talk show. I think a lot of people look at that and they don't, I don't know, they're like, I wanted a whole sim and this, that, and the other. But that's not what's important, so to say. If the goal is to get more people to play the game, that's definitely the way you get more people to play the game. Specifically, they said, we can finally share with you this idea we envisioned about 2 years ago. And based on what we saw from the app, yeah, this isn't, I can tell you from a programming perspective, this isn't just something that you whip up out of nowhere. This has been in the works. You can tell that they have been working on this, which is awesome to see. So they said about 2 years ago. So let's take that for its word. Since 2023, they've been planning on it. All those years, all those time, people were clamoring, oh, give us a physical sim, give us a card game, blah, blah, blah. They were listening. They were like, yeah, we can't say anything about it. We're not gonna feed into it, but they're working on it. They then linked the video. They said, we're aiming to make a new smartphone app, Digimon Elysion, a new title that uses Digimon Liberator for the base world feel, has a new story, and allows people to more easily try playing the DCG. The base game rules are the same, but there will be original cards for Digimon Elysion called Ally cards or Ally cards, however you might pronounce that, which we think will make it a unique experience. They can't say much about it now, most likely because this is not anticipated for release this year, but in 2026. The wrap up, we've mentioned this many times already, from April 2025, Digimon card game is celebrating its 5th anniversary and will be the first year of the global unification. In other words, a step into a new chapter for the Digimon card game. We feel that it is thanks to everyone's support that we've made it to this point, so we'd like to express our deepest gratitude to you all. However, the current DCG is now at the rookie stage and is just stepping out into the battle area. We hope to keep moving forward and keep digivolving the game to Champion, Ultimate, Mega, and beyond. This is a ways in the future yet, but we already have ideas formed for up to the end of next year. We hope to share more with you all about that soon. Digimon's not dying. Also, there have been rumors and inquiries, mainly through social media, so they do read what y'all are fucking posting there. So to clarify, at this time, the Digimon card game does not have any plans to use a block icon system. Of course, this may change based on future developments, but in that case, we would be sure to inform everyone and explain in detail. We'll keep planning more products and events that everyone can enjoy. Our team is also aiming to deliver the wonderfulness, blah, 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 blah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No rotation plan. I think that says all you need to know.
Hey, Michael was wrong.
What was I wrong about?
Nah, remember you were like, oh, they definitely got announced rotation at
No.
DigiFest.
I said I was being a sarcastic asshole. I said jokes on you. They're gonna say what did I say? I said they're gonna say that new app is an updated tutorial app and then announce rotation. I was being sarcastic.
For a moment, I was worried that was a tutorial. When I first, when the trailer started playing, I was like, oh my fucking goodness, if this is a tutorial app, I'm going to lose my fucking shit and not in a good way.
That would be traumatic. I am more worried about it being a fucking gacha game at this point, though.
So it's definitely going to be a gacha game.
Right? I can imagine. That's when they were explaining it. I was like, that sounds like a gacha game.
It's going to be Master Duel. Just Master Duel.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can imagine it being Master Duel. I hope the economy is good. I don't know what Master Duel's economy is like now. I know when I started playing Master Duel, I got so many fucking gems just from the inaugural event and playing.
Oh, yeah.
That I built Drytron with not paying shit, which was awesome.
If you do the entire tutorials for Master Duel, you can build a really, really good deck. And then it's completely free to play after that.
Solo mode too stuff. There's so many gems. It's free gems everywhere. You just got
if you're good at Master Duel, log on every day, win matches, whatever. Completely free to play.
Michael,
good, fair point. Fair point, Dan. Fair point.
Sometimes I wish I still played Master Duel so I could talk shit, but I haven't played since it dropped, so I can't say anything.
Bro, even if you did play, me and Dan would whoop your ass.
If I was still playing, I don't know. I had Mark teaching me. I had Mark teaching me. I was going to be good, No.
See, it's different, bro, because you weren't molded by the toxicity of Yu-Gi-Oh players in person. It's a different thing.
It's a level. We were born in the toxicity of Yu-Gi-Oh. We weren't molded.
Yeah, it's like Bane, you merely adapted the darkness. We were born in it.
Exactly.
I don't know. I can't speak to it. That being said, I totally envision that it's going to be like Master Duel. The look it looks like amazing. Fucking Hearthstone. It does look amazing because it looks like Hearthstone. And if you don't know what Hearthstone is,
I don't think you need to explain to anyone what Hearthstone is.
I would hope not. But am I right to say that it was pretty much the first digital card game? The first successful one? There
was always been Sims and stuff, but that's definitely
the first big company successful digital card game.
Yeah, we can go with that. So what made it so popular and what I always thought was really great about it being fully digital and what separates it from just a Digimon card game app or MTG Arena or anything is that the fact that it's a fully digital game, there's no physical cards, means that their erratas make fucking sense.
Right.
Because you can just errata a digital card and it fixes
as a gameplay patch.
Yeah. Marvel Snap, yeah. Same thing, same concept. And you can also do cooler things, cool interactions that you can't do in IRL type stuff, like Marvel Snap, where they will do
Snap
so many different cool things that you could never do in real life style. So, I wonder if that's how the new Digimon cards are going to work, because they already confirmed, we're going to have exclusive Digimon cards so I wonder if they're going to be weird interactions that you can't do in real life, or it's just going to be, hey, here's a new Digimon, its effect, that's it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
So in MTG Arena, there's a mode called Alchemy, and that is basically shit you can't do in real life. And it's really cool. So I'm excited for this though. It is a very cool concept.
I'm pretty sure that Gemmon is going to be exclusive card.
What card?
Gemmon, the new Digimon that showed off.
Actually, I don't think it'll be exclusive. I think they'll probably do some sort of promo card, but I don't. To your point, I think it'll be like
its own effect or whatever
different
the
card.
name of the card is and stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited. Mainly because I've played gacha games. Arknight followers. I've played Arknight. I've spent some amount of money on Arknights.
Are you a whale, bro? Do you be fucking?
Am I a whale? Let me ask you this: am I a whale in the Digimon card game?
Yes.
Yes.
Does that answer your question?
Yes. I don't even know why I asked. Yeah. Like Candy, I don't even want to know what your digital transactions.
You know what's even funnier about that? People complain like I've read some post, or not a post. Sorry, it was a comment on one of my card caches. I think that somebody was like, "Oh, I don't understand why everybody feels the need to like max rarity their deck because whatever," or just maybe they just said that. And somebody else said like, yeah, you know, the same base rarity deck can still whoop a max rarity deck any day. Yeah, true. Definitely true. That being said, I like shiny and I like specifically, I like art. Okay. I really do like art, like as a whole. And I have an appreciation for arts that I do like. If I like an art, I'll pay for it. Within reason, of course.
No, I've seen you do things without reason lots of times.
No,
actually.
No.
Yeah.
I'll have you, if you watch my card cache, I bought, instead of the classic collection EX1 Agumons, I bought the, what was it? The Illustrator packs because I like those arts better. So.
I don't think that's what I was referring to.
That's neither here nor there. We don't need to talk about. Enough. We don't need to talk about the other decisions, but people like, it's like, I don't understand why you complain about that. If we look at it from a gacha game perspective, what really keeps a gacha game going? Is it the people who log in every day to play for free? Or is it the people who have nothing better to do with themselves and just say, you know what? I don't mind making this a monthly bill, dropping $1,000 on this game every month. If 100 players think like that and they drop $1,000 on the game every month, that game is therefore making $100,000. And that money is paying for server cost, development time, and everything else that goes along. And if we think about that, why I hold the opinion that rotation kills Digimon, if we apply that to Digimon, the casuals make up a very big part of it. So it's on the opposite end of the spectrum there, because, you know, they're the ones buying product. But in the same vein, if a casual player then is picking shit up and they're like, damn, like I pulled this card. Like we see it today. People pick up packs of like EX3 for some reason, you know? And it's just because, you know, that
they don't know better, right?
Right. They don't know better, but they'll just like pick it up because they're just like, I like Digimon. Well, imagine picking it up and you're just like, fuck. This isn't worth anything.
To be fair, sometimes I don't know if I fully agree with this argument, so I guess I'll be playing devil's advocate here. Mm-hmm. A lot of people say that rotation is better for new players and casual players because they don't have to buy older cards from older sets. Mm-hmm. They can just open new product and play the game.
Right.
I kind of hate that. I mean, like, I get it. I totally understand that side of the argument. I just don't like rotation in general, so I guess I'll always be against it. But there is an argument to be had there, I guess. I'm not going to be the one to fucking champion the argument.
I have a better argument, and Dan's going to hate. I already
know, though, that if I don't point it out, they will comment on here and be like, Varney, you're wrong. It's better for new players. So I'll say that now that there is an argument for it.
So I have a better point to bring up that Dan's going to hate that I'm bringing up, but I'm bringing it up. You made this point once, and you said Digimon doesn't have enough starter decks.
No, I don't think it does, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I also don't think we have enough. We get basically 2 every year. And
which I think is so I get it's probably sorry. You remind me of this and it just drives me insane because I understand that it takes time to design starter decks or whatever, but you don't even need to fucking like
make new cards.
Exactly. So the way that One Piece has been doing it, and people are gonna beat me because I keep talking about that game. I know no one likes it, whatever. They take these meta decks now or non-meta decks, whatever. Some of them are really good decks already, some of them aren't, and they'll just take them and they'll print new support for them in the form of a starter deck. So like the new wave that we're getting in June, I think, has like decks like Shanks, Blackbeard, Bonnie, Yamato, Purple Black Luffy, some other shit. Whatever. Blue deck, I can't think of. Fucking
I'm not gonna remember.
Buggy, right? So what they do is they'll reprint some of the support from the deck, but then they'll also add new cards for the deck. So reprint cards that are good, add new support, which is great. They did it a few months back with a few other decks: Purple Luffy, Dofi, Whitebeard, etc. And it made some of the decks really, really strong. Dofi actually got hit on a ban list recently because of it. But it's a way to just like, hey, new player, you want to get into the game, buy 2 of these starter decks, and you have a really relevant deck now that you can upgrade with cards that come out as you so please. I think it's just a good design philosophy, right? And it also allows Digimon to have another way to reprint cards that aren't random special sets or box toppers or promos or entries for regionals or something, right? I'm not saying that they're going to fucking... No one is reprinting secret rares or something in these starter decks, right? But still, random rares that might have cost more money that shouldn't be so much money now. Random super rares, maybe, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, but I think that's a really good thing to talk about because we see the price. People say, and I say it like this because I like to state things more as like facts, but people say the Digimon card game is getting more expensive. And I don't disagree, right? Obviously, the prices of SRs are no longer like, oh, I can pick up, my playset of SRs for this meta relevant deck for $10. If we look at what's a relevant deck right now that doesn't play a secret rare, maybe Sukuyamon, I guess. What's that? No, that's no new SRs, right?
They play Ruin mode.
Right, they play Ruin mode. Okay, let's not look at that one.
Sometimes you don't have to.
Give me one. Give me a deck that doesn't play a secret rare that you know of.
I mean, again, any of the decks can play a secret rare. Digimon doesn't have to play Omni X.
Perfect.
But plays it.
Perfect. Say less. Gigasudramon. So Gigasudramon. Okay, actually, that's not perfect. Gigasudramon's a 25-cent SR. Wow. Wowzers. Probably a better one to look at is Metal Sudramon, right?
To be fair, though, I think that's good for the game regardless. But even that, so let's not even talk about currently. I understand the game is getting more expensive to play right now. That's the argument, right? Let's take BT. Let's go all the way back in time. Let's go back to BT12. Mm-hmm. Okay. Hunters, tier 1 deck in BT12. A Resudramon Superior Mode was a $10 card. The base art was $10. You needed 4, $40. So even back then, it's not like it was obscene. It wasn't like it was a 25-cent SR.
Mm-hmm.
It's like $10-$12, right? I'm not even making that up. And then Quartzmon on top of that was an SR that was also a couple bucks. I think it was like maybe $7, $8, $10, something like that, right?
Right.
So I don't. If you're coming into the game, right, some metas are obviously always going to be more expensive than others, right? You're going to have metas where a fucking deck that runs rares is going to be the best at some point, right? It just happens. It's just, right now we're in a meta where things are more expensive. And also, though, product is more expensive now, right? Product has gone up in price. Whether it's a Bandai's fault of their own or not, I mean, it's going to get more expensive if these tariffs stick, which means singles are going to go up too, right? To be fair, the economy hasn't really been the greatest the last few years anyways, so things are just more expensive than they should be, in my opinion. I think that there's a lot of other contributing factors here outside of Bandai's control or outside of Digimon as a whole's control. And another point I will make to this, I don't think that this card game is still obscenely expensive anyways. It's not going to ever be as cheap as fucking Pokemon at this point. Like we're past that. Pokemon is so cheap, I think, because their collector and scalper base is so huge in Pokemon that no one gives a shit about base rarity. Like the scalpers don't, the collectors don't, whatever. They're just there to hunt cards that are expensive. And I think that really,
and they're the ones who
drives down the prices on everything.
It drives down the prices competitively, and it's also subsequently, however you want to say it, is the part of the market that keeps Pokemon where it's at in terms of market presence.
There's also an argument there that because of rotation and that they will get reprints due to rotation, it helps the prices a lot too.
For sure. I'll take this time to shout out, if you guys haven't heard of him, you should check him out. His name is Cosmic Plays. He just released a video where he goes over, I can't remember if I think it's Q2 or whatever, the latest quarter of basically card game performance on the sealed market for TCG Player, I believe is what it was. So it's a good like 40-minute watch. The one thing that he says is Prismatic Evolutions, which just came out, is not a mainline booster set. I think I don't know exactly what it is because I don't play Pokemon, but it's not a main booster. It's some sort of auxiliary booster that is so fucking popular that it literally put Pokemon heads and shoulders above every other card game, and like quite literally left them in the dust, like Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen left motherfuckers in the dust type shit. Like that's, if you watch F1, you'll know how crazy a statement that is, because that's literally like what Prismatic Evolutions is. I dabble.
F1's good. I'm still too poor to get into F1 fully. It's definitely like a rich person thing, but every once in a while I dabble.
I also dabble. I dabble because Max Verstappen is really fucking cool because he's like our age and he like sim races a lot. So it's like, I just know of Max Verstappen and by extension Lewis Hamilton. But that's neither here nor there.
King, bro. Lewis Hamilton's awesome.
He is. If you don't watch F1 and you want better terms, if the card games are here, Pokemon is like, you see my hand is off screen? Like that's where Pokemon's at. That's
can't say like
crazy.
You say both? Like this guy.
Sure. Right. Sure,
Michael Phelps. Like, you know,
hey,
blowing people out of the water, you know what I'm saying?
Something that just happened this past weekend. Ovechkin just broke the all-time goal record in hockey.
Which is crazy. Never thought I would see it today.
Fucking actually insane, yeah.
You know, we had so many different type of, you know, analogies you could have used, sports analogies. You chose.
Don't shit on me for using F1. Get with the times, bro. Don't
pay attention to F1.
Get with the chat.
Everyone knows who Usain Bolt
Everybody in the audience, let me know in the comments down below right now at this very moment. Go type it right now. I watch F1 if you watch F1.
Yo, you're gonna get
and if you don't watch F1, tell me. And then tell me what you do watch.
You can say in the comments, let's see who's right. Everybody in the chat could go, I know who Usain Bolt is for damn sure. Or Michael Phelps. Come on, man.
LeBron James.
Right.
Would you have preferred I said LeBron James then?
Over S1, yeah.
It's just not as fair a comparison for LeBron.
To be fair, if you did watch F1, you would know that Max Verstappen is actually basically
cracked.
He's cracked. So.
The literal definition of like APOC and then some. Like,
yeah, it's pretty.
Motherfucker is insane. All right. I'm sorry. We're going to go off on a little bit of tangent here. He will literally lead and he'll have like a minute gap on people, which is insane in F1 terms.
Doesn't sound like a lot. It's a lot. That's a lot.
To have a whole minute gap when you're essentially racing. You're not racing this. you're not racing like the same cars in F1 because it's all about team engineering. But when you put into perspective the fact that like driver skill is putting him at bare minimum like 30 seconds ahead of other people, that's yeah. And I think he's won like the last 4 F1 Cups. Driver, yeah, what it's called. Like at least the last 3, if not the last 4, and he's probably in the lead this year. So like
I don't know. I don't watch enough F1, but
Mans is cracked. Anyways, Pokemon Prismatic Evolutions, insane performance on the card game market. And the point of why that's important is if Prismatic Evolutions is doing that, and that's not even like a mainline booster, look at a set like the Umbreon VMAX, bro.
Well, I think the reason why Prismatic Evolutions is doing so well is because it's basically an evolution set.
Say less.
I don't know enough about Pokemon, but I'm pretty sure it's an evolution set.
So say less, because set 7, whatever this is for Pokemon Evolving Skies, they have an Umbreon VMAX that is near mint hollow foil, lowest priced, $1,700 fucking dollars.
Yeah, that card in a 10 is ridiculous.
I remember when this card was $600. Evolving Skies, I know, for as much Pokemon as I know Evolving Skies is still hard to come by. Evolving Skies is as hard to come by probably as like Blue Bottom OPO1 boxes for One Piece.
Yeah, I mean, both are out of print, right? So
right, both are out of print. They're mad expensive. I've seen OPO1 cases go for like 15 grand.
Oh yeah, they're
like
ridiculous.
That's like that level is crazy. But as crazy as it is, in a way, it keeps Pokemon's prices down, because if there are whales willing to spend that much just to pull these fucking cards, what are they going to do with the rest of them? They don't fucking pull those cards. Here, buy the cards. Let me recoup some of the cost, you know? And I think that's a really important point, and that was what I was trying to say earlier about Digimon with rotation. If we don't really have people who chase as much, there's a handful of people who chase, and I certainly have been battling chasing versus just saying, I'll just spend $600 on the fucking card.
Yeah, I mean, I know what kind of person I am, and I know that I have fucking absolute god shit fucking luck, bro. So I just buy singles. But
right,
if I was lucky in any capacity at any point in my life, I'd be buying sealed. But I don't think I've ever pulled anything good ever. I'm so bad, bro. I don't buy sealed often. I still have never pulled an alt art leader card. I mean, like I buy like 2 box.
You just did. You just did.
Oh yeah, I just did. I pulled an Usopp. Yeah, it was my first time. It was the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my first time finally pulling an Usopp leader card after like 7 or 8 sets. I finally pulled one leader. And it's not even like leaders are hard to pull. I have that bad of luck when it comes to opening sealed product. I don't even think anytime I've ever opened Digimon product, and I used to open a lot of Digimon product. I used to go in on cases. I've never opened anything good.
I mean, he's gotten the shit end of case splits, for heaven's sake.
Oh yeah.
that last
BT10
case split
one?
we did all the way back in BT10, that was when I decided that I was no longer ever going to buy it. Like,
bro, that was... He was like, I know what I want. This is the cards that I want, and I want to play. And we barely pulled any of that shit. Dan made out like a fucking bandit.
Yeah. That was funny.
Pain, dude. Straight up.
I got like Max Ray Blue Flare off that, something like that.
But you know what, bro? It's like, I feel like, not that Dan doesn't care about what he pulls, because obviously he loves this fucking card game and he wants to pull nice shiny things. But I feel like Dan was like, yeah, if I get the stuff, then I get the stuff. That's cool. This dude will just pull like some crazy shit all the time. I'm like,
no, I don't. Wait, let's backtrack. My only SP pull was the black white bag robot. Like, that's just worth nothing.
Fair enough.
I got no good when it comes to pulls like that. Nah, I don't got pulls like that.
Fair enough. You know who does have crazy pulls? Our friend Mark.
Yeah, Mark bought one fucking box of 2.5.
Yeah, and he pulled the SP, the Imperial SP.
The Dragon mode. Yeah, the Virus Imperial Dragon mode SP.
I think it was the Fighter mode SP.
Or sorry, yeah, Fighter mode SP. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? One box.
Remember when he did that with the Alpha when Whatever
yes,
set
it was the Alphamon. Yep.
Yeah, he did the same thing. I'm just like, bro, how? I don't understand.
Yeah, it couldn't be me. Could not be me. Also, I looked it up for curiosity's sake. TCG player, a case of Blue Bottom Romance Dawn, $20,000.
Jesus.
Not even Evolving Skies is that much. Evolving Skies is just sitting
how
at
much
8K.
is a case of SPO1 or not SP? Yeah,
Release Booster 1.0.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The last time I recall,
probably a couple thousand.
No. It's only about 1,000 if I'm remembering.
Oh, okay.
1.5
release special.
Yeah, it's a very specific term. It is. Do they even have it? That's the real question.
I know. I'm looking too. No, that's wrong too. What the fuck?
So
1.5 is.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. All right, Dan. $2,000.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
It hasn't. None of them sold.
You know what? You know what I think killed that. What case's value is all the times Omnimon has been reprinted from that set.
Probably.
If they had just kept that Omnimon as its own alt art and stopped reprinting it, I think that set would have been decent.
The reason I say none of them sold and why that's a big thing is because for Evolving Skies since December 27th, it's had 8 sales. 65, 68, 69, 6, 69, 8, 89, and 10.
That's wild.
Grand.
Wow.
We're talking over $6,000 spent on a case. That is from a card game play, from somebody who I like to collect, but I'm not super hardcore. That's fucking insane. Mike, what about OPO1? I'm sure that's had sales, but not at $20,000. I'm sure it probably.
It's hard to gauge too because a lot of these sales are obviously happening on Facebook trade groups and stuff, right?
Right. That's why we can just use.
If me or you were to release anyone, in my opinion, anyone who's actually looking for sealed product like this, I don't think you should be buying it off the TCG player.
Right.
You should be going onto your your community page and being like, hey, looking to buy this for 85% of market rate, whatever, because it just it's the way to do it. But let me check right now and see.
So it doesn't, I just looked, it doesn't say exactly what's sold because the case listing doesn't distinguish between blue and white bottom. But the latest sold, which was a week ago, was $4,400.
So it's probably just the white
bottom. I was going to say, I assume that's a white bottom, which is still.
I think that the whole, collectors are just a different breed.
Collectors are a different breed.
I literally could not be even fucking bothered to care about pre-errata or post-errata One Piece cards, but
Nami,
collectors are just.
Nami's the best example to talk about because she's been reprinted. What that first alt art? How many times has she been reprinted?
Oh, that first alt art has never been reprinted.
Really? Well, okay.
Yeah, but that Nami card has had a zillion reprints at this point. But again, it's just one of those it's so hard to even compare. It also, when you look at something like One Piece and you look at something like Digimon, all those cards from OPO1, a lot of that shit's still played, so it's worth more money.
Right.
But for Digimon, let's be honest, the early sets are kind of fucking garbage at this point in the game. Not that they were garbage. They weren't garbage when they came out. They weren't garbage when they came out, but it's
the card pools. Yeah, the card pools were so massive in a way that only a handful of cards are still relevant today. We talk about old cards being relevant. Definitely, there are a lot of old cards still relevant, but it's a lot of old cards cumulatively from past sets. Perfect example is EX1.
In 1.0, a lot 1.0 and 1.5 like that. A lot of the good old cards are hit on balance too.
That is true as well. But they were also just not, high rarity cards.
Right.
I also think I don't know, think about again, I think it's just another case we have collectors in Digimon, but not to the capacity in other card games.
Not enough to keep Digimon afloat.
In my opinion, 1.0 still has some of the nicest alt arts in the game. Argue with a fucking wall, I don't care. But the War Greymon from 1.0, that has a case for top 10 alt art in the game still, in my opinion.
The Black War Greymon from that set, the Beelzemon. I don't know if they're. I'm probably mixed with 1.0, 1.5, but Yelzamon, the Metal Greymon, the Digimon all art is nice. It's just the card is complete trash. What else?
I mean, the 1.0 Omnimon is a beautiful card, bro.
Beautiful themed arts when we had the digital backgrounds.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Cool. And then also the kind of like, I don't know what they're called, but they were like Lilithmon was in that style.
Yeah.
I would love for them to return to that older art style at some point, dude. I would love that.
Those were all Kenji arts. Okay, so need I say more? They were originally Kenji arts, and if you Kenji fucking makes
even the BT1 or I guess the 1.0, sorry, the special booster 1.0, the box topper tamers, bro, gorgeous.
Yeah,
gorgeous. Bro.
Yeah, they look good. They look good.
Those are still honestly some of my favorite ways that we've ever even gotten tamer alt arts. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like the tamer alt arts we get now are nice, but there's just something special about those early special booster 1.0 box toppers, bro.
Nah, for sure.
And I never realized that those 1.5 arts were Kenji arts. The ones that I'm talking about, like Lilithmon, Ragnalord, Blitzgreymon, Leopardmon,
those are some nice arts.
Bro, like those are insane arts by Kenji Watanabe. And it's like, hit the next.
I think he's just not worth nothing, really.
Yeah, they're not anymore. And I mean, Kenji.
Hey, but you know what though? Oh, maybe, hopefully, good things happen. Digimon keeps picking up traction. The app goes really well. It gets more people invested. Maybe collectors from other card games start getting into it.
That's possible.
The inverse of that is that product will just get absolutely fucked because scalpers, but it's a risk I'm willing to take.
Hey, yo, I bought like almost places of all those older cards just because they were like so cheap to buy, those old arts.
Hell yeah.
Already, so I'm chilling. Let them skyrocket. Let them skyrocket.
Enough people like Digimon to the point that like they'll pick up the game and they'll want to play it because it is fun to play. Regardless what anybody says, Digimon is definitely fun to play. And especially if you enjoy a Digimon, you might not be able to make the best deck depending on what Digimon you like to play. For example, if you like Rasenmon, which came up in Discord today, you're kind of ass fuck because Rasenmon
one printing.
It got
Digiburst
support, and then it's just been forgotten, to say the least. But for what it's worth, the thing I like is why I don't really care for rotation is because, sure, if you have a good reprint policy, you can just reprint these older cards. I don't care about that. I want to be able to take some obscure ass old card that I didn't even think of and be like, oh, wow, like this is awesome. Like for Rocks, for example, the old Gogma, I don't know if lists play it, but like it's not a bad card.
They do.
Perfect. And that's a BT4 SR. You can get away with playing Gogmamon. You can also play, I'm not going to think of anything right now, but I like that over like, oh, I hope Bandai reprints Gogmamon in this upcoming reprint set so that I can play Gogmamon in my Rocks deck. No, I like an eternal card pool. I like having everything at my disposal rather than this limited set of stuff. And for what it's worth, if people already complain about decks being like cookie cutter, how cookie cutter will decks be if there's rotation and then you legitimately have to play all the same cards because everything else was rotated out, Think of Royal Knights, for example. Bro, if rotation ever happened with Royal Knights, sure, you could reprint Yggdrasil. How many old not that you play the old ones, but if you really wanted to, you could play some of the old Royal Knights. If I really wanted to, if deletion was this big thing in the meta, I would play my good old BT3 Craniumon because, best boy who, we're still waiting on Craniumon X at this point. But if rotation happened, I wouldn't even have that option. And yeah, that's such a minor thing to I guess, bitch about, complain about. But like, that's just me, that's what I like. So.
BT3 Craniumon, goated card, bro.
Black blockers. Play Beyblade.
Beyblade, bro.
The card's been in my existence back in the day.
I miss that deck so much.
Poor Agumon back then.
Agumon got fucked. That should piss me off so much too, because what a fucking random time for that card. People were just like, oh, this card's good now. Fuck you.
I'll hard drop this at 3, give you a full 10. Can you watch you struggle, deal with a goddamn cranium on board? Agumon's just like, yeah, it's not possible.
Good times, am I right? Good times.
No.
Yeah, I just wanna give a quick shout out because I just realized it. On one of the card caches, so what I do on card cache is I show off card arts, and we go over like artists. One art I have really fallen in love with is BT19 Calumon, because golly, especially on like the pure white border that card is, it works so well. It's so fucking cute. It's beautiful. It's drawn by this artist Yamuretsu, and I just looked them up, and all of their arts are like actually of the same general kind of art style. It seems like it's like it feels like they could be canvassed art paintings, and I'm just like, fuck, man. First of all, shout out to Yamuretsu because the arts are fucking fantastic. They did the what's it called? Half of the training alt arts. I believe these are the ones from the Fable Waltz starter deck with Syndromon. Like, man, every day I just wish that we had a Digimon art book, because
that'd be nice.
Oh my lord, like, can you imagine just getting to look at like Kenji arts and like?
So I even cooler than that. So for Magic, you can actually go to the artist page and buy prints.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Totally would.
I used to have some Magic art framed, but God knows how many moves ago that was. I don't even know where the fuck that shit's at.
Of course.
Sheesh. Lost to the ethers.
I'm glad to see Bandai making the move to bring more artists in, and it's not just like more artists like Spare Ribs, who is great. Don't get me wrong. Spare Ribs is awesome. I love that they came up from the art competition. But to get someone like Damizu Posca, or what I learned the other day, the artist who drew the Galactic for the English, our English exclusive Galacticmon, his name is Emiliano Santalucia, and he is an Italian comic book artist for Transformers. So it's cool to see these
that makes
artists.
Sense why that art looks like the way.
Exactly. It does look very Transformers-esque. And it's really fucking awesome to see artists from other brands or from things that we might know if you say like, oh, this is where they're from, make their way into the card game. I would have never in a million years expected, someone like a Transformers artist to do art. But lo and behold, that's not their first art. They've done 5. The English exclusive Zudomon Ace, the Beelzemon X Antibody from the Binder Dan, as well as the Lucamon, and the Metal Garurumon from the 2-star, or 3-star, I should say, from EX05, which, looking at it, I can see
4 out
that
of 5 cards are banger cards.
Yeah, I don't personally care for Lucamon's baby face, but I also think because he does Transformers, he just does better with something that looks like a robot, like Metal fucking Garurumon, who looks awesome as fuck in that art. I love their expansion into other card game art, or other artists. I just didn't realize that Emiliano was like this wasn't his first rodeo. I'm glad to know that, we've had them in the past, and it really does bode well for the future, especially for Unification. Those SPs for Safaga and Virus Imperial are hands down like one of my top 10 all time, just because I'm a fan of her art style, or their art style, I should say. And I just can't wait to see what kind of arts we get in the future, man.
And it's fine to have regional based all arts for their own region. It's okay, guys. It's A-okay.
Is it though?
Yes.
Why? Why is it okay?
Because we still got the card anyways. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Me personally, there are just like 1,000 other better things to complain about. I get it. World convergence. We all should be getting like the same exact stuff.
We are getting
but at the same time,
it's cool to have our own exclusive regional stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right. At the same time, it's like, it's just arts. Like,
if you really want to go, if you really want those arts that badly, just go on eBay and buy them. Like, I'm sure they're going to be probably not that expensive.
Yeah, but then the argument,
agreed.
But then the argument got brought up. And I'm only saying this because I saw it on Facebook. A collector who, only gets their arts by pulling them, they won't be able to pull that exclusive art.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an excuse for gambling.
And
you have a gambling problem. You should call 1-800-GAMBLING. You should sit down with a counselor, and you should talk to them about your life choices.
This is probably something I'd like to talk with DigiPanda about, because he's the biggest Digimon collector that I know. Because DigiPanda is somebody who, at least formerly, buys 2 cases, fills out his playset master binder that is both regular and alt arts, and then buys whatever else he needs after the fact. So for him, like, the idea, I can imagine that the idea of regional, I don't want to speak for DigiPanda, but based on what I know about like how he collects, the idea of like having to basically complete your collection by buying singles after the fact, I mean, it's no different than what if you didn't pull that card in that single box. If your policy as a collector is, I'm going to buy this 1 box and then I'll just buy the singles for the rest, you probably might not have pulled that card anyways. So you're probably gonna have to go buy that Japanese alt art anyways. So like, what difference does it make? And I especially think it doesn't matter when the Digimon collector market is so non-existent, to say the least. That it's just like, I don't understand what I've said it on Reddit. I was downvoted for it. I said it on Facebook, and I'll say it here. I just don't understand all the hate for region exclusive arts. I'm like right in the middle on it. I could care less. Doesn't bother me. Do I like the Japanese Medusumon art more? Sure. Does it mean that I don't care about, am I gonna sit here and complain about it? Also no. Somebody on Reddit said? I shit you not, I read this and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Man, I guess I won't be playing Medusumon then. And I was like,
huh?
Because you're not getting the Japanese exclusive alt art in English? I was like, you can just play base rarity.
The SP is the best art in my opinion anyway.
I do agree that I like the SP best. And when I said that, I said, so play the base, or he said, I guess I'm not building Medusumon then, because not that big on the Western alt we're getting, not gonna lie. So I said, then just play the base art. And he said, I like having 1 alt art for the boss monster of each of my decks as the cover card.
Oh my god. So
do you remember so before annoying. When you were like, oh, that person was like, oh, I don't understand why you need to have alt arts to play the deck. That's the type of person he was talking about. Right. That person right there. Yeah, because you're just annoying.
Like you're not gonna play the deck, and if you listen, you can comment and say it for what it is. I'm just saying, I just don't understand that you can print out a copy of the image that has the art that you like, or you can buy the Japanese card. Especially if you're not even saying you're playing with the card, you just like it for the cover card. So buy the fucking Japanese card.
Right. Yo, I'm definitely trying to buy the Galactic Japanese OR. That shit's so fire.
The SP for Medusumon is so much better than the other arts. I don't even understand.
Yeah, SP Medusumon is fire. I like the Tanami kanji art, and I like our English art, but do I like it more than the
Chinese
SP?
ones are the more fire ones.
Oh, honestly. The Chinese ones got fire. fire arts. And for what it's worth, I mean, the Chinese generally do have fire arts, like the Seraphimon.
I feel like they've always gotten really good arts, actually.
Yeah, the Seraphi that we got for Evo Cup, that was originally Chinese exclusive. And, I was in love with that card. And I
feel like something to note, and especially the way you just said there, just because it's an exclusive art now doesn't mean it can't come to us as a promo box topper.
Agreed.
I was just about to say that. We got that Chinese exclusive art for our Evo Cup. For as much as I complain about, I want new exclusive arts for our regional prizing, I also don't have problems with them reusing arts if it's arts we haven't gotten yet. I don't care for arts that we already have. I don't care for color border rehashes. But if the next regional pack is okay, cool, this Japanese exclusive art from Medusumon, we're going to give that to you guys in this regional pack. Okay. I ain't got no problems with that. Straight up.
On another note, before we end, Medusumon might get me buying cards again.
Really?
That deck. Yeah.
Because it's a red deck?
A little red, but also I really, really, really love the SP. I might be spending some whop. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Wow. So I was not expecting that.
So straight up for Medusumon, the SP really has you
I love the SP. I love the style of it. And I also just think progress is a really, really cool keyword.
Interesting. I mean, I agree on progress, but interesting on the art. I'm not saying I hate it. I know you. So
it reminds me a lot of I might get yelled at for this. The One Piece SPs.
You disgust me.
Okay. No. Nope. Say less.
They have those really nice backgrounds.
I know exactly what you're talking. Do you like the Gaiamon?
Yes, I love the Gaiamon.
Yep. Okay. Say less. I understand where you're coming from.
I not saying that Digimon's borrowing from whatever, but I can already picture in my head exactly how that card's going to look in person, and I'm telling you, it's going to be fucking beautiful.
So the card that immediately comes to mind for me is Enel, because the Enel 7-drop is
dude, the nice patterns in the background, the gold they add in, it just looks amazing.
So thinking about that and looking at Gaiamon and Medusumon, yeah, I see where you're coming from for sure. I get it. So, and for what it's worth, everybody was saying they hate the Gaiamon face alt art. Y'all were probably the same motherfuckers who hated the Magna X face art. Because
I'm sure they do.
Me personally, that Gaiamon alt art that we're getting, I'm fucking in love with. I like the SP, don't get me wrong, but this is so it's a nice face profile. It doesn't obscure anything. It's kind of such a domineering presence. That is fucking awesome to me. I don't know what the Japanese alt art looks like off the top of my head because they don't have the art here on Digimon Card Dev. But what I can say is it's okay if you don't like your region's art. Let's put it this way. This is the reason that I don't understand what the upset is for when it comes to region exclusive arts. If you dislike your region's art, if we didn't have language exclusive arts, you would still dislike your region's art. Therefore, you would either not buy that art and play the base rarity, or you buy the SP. And if you're not spending money on SP, you're fucking playing the base rarity. So what does it matter?
I think there's even a better way around it, and that's just to allow us to use any language cards in our decks.
That would be cool.
Did they confirm if you were able to or not?
Nope.
No. Especially with, dude, it just makes so much sense with unification. Come on, let us do it, you fucking bastards.
Yeah. Does, I assume Magic allows for that?
Magic will literally print anime style Japanese cards that are all.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, you're allowed to use.
Okay. I believe
like in America, you can use German cards or and as long as you know what they do and you have the exact.
You have to have the English ruling copy on hand, right? Yeah. So that would be cool. But yeah, that's my little thing on language exclusive.
I think I don't understand. It's just okay, if you have right the version of this card that's in another language, all you have to do is buy the normal non-alt art version of this that's in English. Give it to your opponent. This is what this card does. Just
keep the base rarity on you.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah. that's my spiel on language exclusive arts. I don't get the.
We have a fucking set label, whatever the fuck you want to call it, for a reason. These cards are numbered for a reason. These cards say BT21-101 for a reason. It's not like the alt art, the SP, or any of the other cards don't say BT21-101. They all have the same number.
It's like, America gets this card, like they'll get Ragnarok Cannon, but Japan, no, they'll get like, I don't know, some lesser costed and does less version of Ragnarok Cannon, and because Cannon Ragna that doesn't trash all your opponent's security. It just deletes all their Digimon. That's it. Like some kind of stupid shit like that. We don't have that shit. So if we're playing functionally the same cards, like, and this is coming from somebody who likes to spend stupid money on cards. Like,
I'll be honest, I never understood the argument against it, because if they're playing cards and then they can't procure the English version, then that's just a game loss for them, right? Like, who can, like, either follow the game rules or you still get in trouble for it, right? I don't know. Well, what's the issue?
Yeah, I don't know, but that's it for today's episode of DigiPod, the digital podcast. So, parting words.
Good to have Mike back. It was a great
It was a great guest pod.
You know?
Yeah, man.
Maybe
another 2-hour pod in the books.
Or something like that. You know?
Yeah, maybe next week I can make another guest appearance. You guys are you'll have to go with my scheduling agent though. Things are pretty busy for me.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'll make sure we'll make the appointment in advance this time so we can make sure we get you in earlier than we did tonight.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, if we can get in a little earlier.
Yeah,
I'll
for sure.
talk with my my manager, Gabby. No, but parting words. I had a good time tonight, guys. Thanks for having me on the pod. This is really cool. You guys do this every week? Or?
Yeah, it's a every week thing. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I would love to come back again sometime.
Yeah,
for sure.
Maybe we'll have like a part 2 featuring more Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, that'd be super
cool.
sweet. Very cool.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Cool. We'll see what the audience reaction to having you here is. You know, if they like you, yeah, I have no problem bringing you back. But
if they don't,
if they don't
like me, no, I get it. What can you do? I'm gonna have to cut my contract.
Let us know in the comments down below. Did you like Mike being here for this pod? Did you, do you rather like the replacement? Mike,
we'll just keep you
remember, I'm a person and I have feelings. You better be nice to me, guys.
We'll keep you on Reddit or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just keep it moving.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Anyways, thank you guys for watching this pod. If you liked it, hey, drop a like and subscribe so that you know when future podcasts come out. And until we talk to you guys the next time. Peace out.
Peace.
Catch you on the next one.